Hello, great people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and yet another vlog. My name is Melissa Joe. For those who may not know me, for those who do, hooray! Just wanted to come on here, do an intro for this vlog, and just welcome you to this space. Funny because we're currently shooting something called This Space for church, but I realized I didn't talk much in my last vlog, and my last vlog was quite short, so. And I'm sure it's because I didn't have like my 30-minute segment of just talking about something. But either way, it was put out and I'm glad it was. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But karibuni sana to this one. Kidogo update. I've been quite unwell for like the past 1.5 weeks. It's just been one thing after another. But right now I'm well on my way to recovery, and so I'm grateful to God for that. And yeah, yesterday I did my usual walk and it didn't feel as excruciating as it has been feeling, so that's why I'm able to say I'm well on my way to recovery. And there's a lot of noise around me and I'm going to try and ignore it all. Hopefully it's not too loud on the video, but remember in my, I think it's September to December vlog, I will have it linked in the iCards above if you want to refer back to it. But there's a point in time where I was talking about how I'm not really seeing, like I'm worried about my future in the creative space, because most times when I go to events and all of these things for creatives, I tend to be demotivated by the characters that I see. I've just watched a reel by Weeks and they went to Nanyuki with Akina Mkurugenzi, Akina Phil, Akina Judy, and of course Walter. And I think it's encouraged me a lot. She was basically doing like a budget of sorts through that reel, and she was basically doing like a breakdown of how much they spent on everything, like fuel, the accommodation, food, everything. And the total spend for that trip was about 182,000 if I'm not wrong. And I think just seeing that really encouraged me, because I'm like, these are people who are 100% in the creative space, and it's really encouraged me. And even just seeing them driving a Land Rover Discovery, I think is like, there's hope. Like there's actually people out here who are doing it. So I think it's just a matter of patience and trusting in the Lord and actually doing what He has called you to do, because blessings follow your obedience to Him. It's guaranteed. And then I was also just sitting here and thinking about Akina Wanjironjiro and Ben Psycho. And I believe at the moment they're probably, from the looks of things, the leading podcast in Kenya right now. And these are people who have not sold out. They are very clear about their faith in Christ. Like their theme song gives glory to God. We're well aware of their Christian faith and their Christian lifestyle, and still you're seeing the blessings that God is pouring over their lives. So I think it's a really good indicator and a really good showcase that you don't have to compromise and you don't have to look like the world in order to succeed. Like you can do it God's way and He'll still multiply your fruits and bless you abundantly. And Akina Njironjiro are quite young. It gives me hope. And I think when I tend to worry about my future, let me tell you my future is something I really worry about. Because I'm like, guy, what if it doesn't work out? Guy, what if this happens? What if this happens? But then God constantly reminds me of the verse that talks about seeking first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these other things. Basically, all these things that I tend to worry about will be added unto me. I was also watching a movie the other day inspired by Wanza, and she doesn't even know she inspired me, but I was watching her story and they were watching this movie called Prophet Suddenly on YouTube. So Mimi nani. If a Christian sister has recommended you watch something, I'm going to look for it because I trust this Christian sister. So I went and looked for it and I watched it. And where was I going with this? I can't remember. But let me just tell you guys the lessons that I picked from that movie. I think it's very dangerous to want something so bad in your future that it becomes coveting, like it becomes the sin of covetousness. Because in this movie, the main character wanted to be in ministry so bad, but his priorities were very misaligned. He was looking at pastors, and instead of seeing how they were winning souls for Christ and building the kingdom, he was looking at their suits, at their private jets, he was looking at their cars, looking at their shoes, and he's like, whoa, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. And that was his motivation for getting into ministry. And it was just a very toxic foundation to begin with. And of course, it didn't end well for him. I'd highly recommend you go watch it. But I think it just reminded me to kind of just relax and let God have his way and let him straighten my path, having acknowledged him in all of my ways. Alafu, like, the rest ni yeye. Like, I don't need to stress. Like, I know I'm not going to end up badly off. Like, I know there's good days ahead. And I also just need to be patient because even the people I've just mentioned are people who are in their either late 20s or 30s. Some may even be approaching 40, I don't know. And me, I'm still here. I just started feeling like an adult. Yeah, I think it's a process, it'll take time. I can worry about it all I want, but there's no point in that. So why not just give it to God and me focus on him as he focuses on me. You get it? Yeah. That's it. Thank you for listening to me. Circling back to my conversation earlier on Akina Wanjiro and Akina Weeks giving me hope. Another thing I've realized is creatives tend to perform better when they work together. So, like, how the saying goes, no man is an island. I genuinely believe that should be shouted at to creatives. Like, ukiamua you're going to do things on your own, you won't really go far. Yeah? But when guys come together, like you see Akina Weeks, it's a whole group. Akina Weeks, Akina Mkuru, Akina Phil, they work together. Occasionally with Akina and Jugush, but even Jugush and Celeste, they have each other. You get. There's also Kate, the actress, occasionally, who comes in and joins the group. And even Akina and Njiro, they have Akina Moji and Nyawera, who they work with often. And it's kind of like they have like these two cliques where they share opportunities with each other and everything. Even like Mutua Madheka and Sharon Mundia and Patricia Kihoro. Like these guys, like I feel like I believe I was watching a video the other day. Well, not the other day, but a while back where Sharon was saying how like when she gets an opportunity, she likes to bring her friends on board. And it's like she'll mention how this friend of hers can do this during the campaign, blah, blah. And it's not just her getting her flowers, but she brings her friends on board as well. And I've noticed that because even with like works by like Mutua Madheka, like Visit Rwanda, I'm sure either Mutua or Sharon was like, yeah, Mutua can come along, or Mutua was like, yeah, Sharon can come along and she can add this value to this campaign, nini. and they vouch for each other. Even like the Kenya Airways thing, I'm sure either Patricia was invited and she was like, oh, you know, Sharon can also do this, or Sharon was invited and she was like, oh, you know, Patricia can also do this, and there they go to Amsterdam together. I'm pretty sure that trip was fully sponsored. So working together is essential. Finding your quote unquote tribe as a creative is important, and then like kind of becoming personalities, like relatable personalities as a tribe, I think I have observed helps. So working alone is a no. Yeah. And even like in smaller creative circles, like places like Karen Village, the artists work together, they share opportunities. Places like Corner Trust, stuff like that, they collaborate a lot, and several people win instead of just one person. Sasa mimi, since you know we concluded that the first thing to do is seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, I guess how I can avoid chasing after finding that click or forming it, because now when I start chasing it myself instead of giving that desire to God, I start to do things on my own and I get exhausted and I'm just doing things that are not mine to do. So I guess now my role would be to, you know, I mean, now God knows about it. I'm pretty sure he's the one who has led me to that realization. But I guess now it's for me to trust that he will bring those people, or has already brought those people, but now we'll start championing for each other and, you know, sharing opportunities with each other. Really, I guess it already happens. I think I'm the one who's just in a rush. Like, I need to chill. Daddy, chill. Yeah. I guess. Like, sani, ni kuachia Mungu. I've seen Milena Sisioti really thanking God on her IG stories of late for like the community of friends that she has now, because apparently they are a group of people she's been praying for in her life for years, and now she has them. So can I get an amen? The same God that did it for Milena Sisioti is the same God that I serve and can also do it for me. So I see the importance in it, and me na focus on God, and you know, he'll bring those who need to be here, he'll keep those who need to remain, and we shall do well, we shall prosper, and all glory shall go back to him. Hello. Just spoken to my mother, my favorite person in the world. And that just made me feel so much better. Currently going to church because we're shooting this show called This Space. I'll just show you like 2 snippets, kidogo here and there if I can, if I remember to, because my phone is usually the one that is connected to the lapel mic, so I'm never usually able to use it while we're filming. When I can, I'll share stuff, and I will definitely link it below if any episodes are out by the time this what is this vlog is out. But I'm feeling very nice, feeling very cute. It's very cold in Nairobi right now. It looks like it's gonna rain, and I'm wearing white Converse. Usually when I wear my white Converse, it rains. So we're just praying that doesn't happen this time, because who is going to gangana with a brush again? So I will see you guys when I get to church. Excuse my bedding in the background. It's looking quite weird, but it's all right. Updates, currently working on a jacket. Oh, I showed you clips of me painting it, but this is what it looks like right now. I don't know how I feel about it. It's not giving me that, you know, that I look at it and I'm just like, yeah, imeisha. But we'll see if we'll get there at some point. So heading out. I have like an hour to get there, which is more than enough time to get there. I'll even be early, which is good, because yeah, we can help in like setting up and stuff like that. So bye. And dinner is served. There we go. Lovely, lovely. It's wow. Lovely.
The Lord.
Say hello.
Tunakuona.
Mimi ndo nakanga usiku guys.
Is it any better or worse? Nataka nipitishe troli hapa niue vikombe.
Wapi dada?
Sera ameendana. What are you doing?
Hi guys, welcome to Melissa's YouTube channel. So as you all see, tunavyotuona hapa, tumechill, we are flexing, we are vibing, we are chilling. Someone is hiding in the corner drinking some things there. There you go. And as you all can see, I am not alone. Ndo hawa waresh wasupa, ndo hawa wameweza kuweza, ndio hawa.
My land is Kenya, so warm and bright and clean.
What was with this Jamania? Yo, good morning.
Hello, it's been like a week since I last filmed anything, but currently editing one of the clips from this space, the show that we're producing for the Mamlaka Youth YouTube channel. And let me tell you, hey, the production of this season, I feel like imekuwa tu heart check every single episode for Melissa Joe. So I'm just here editing Chantel's song and I'm like, we ndo yote na roho imeguswa. But hey man, I'm so grateful for this season. You guys, man, stay tuned. The way the Lord has used the welding outside to wake me up today, beautiful. Today I am running to town for about 40 minutes to an hour, running some errands. Gonna get my shea butter. Oh, hallelujah. Gonna get my shea butter, and a few other things that I will show you when I return. See you. Passed by Sanford on my way back. Didn't manage to get one package, but it's okay. Hi again. I am back at my parents' house and I'm just arranging my studio, and I've found an art piece that I forgot was coming back. So I was just arranging and then I found it, so I'm gonna open it. I'm expecting it to be very faded, but it's the King Saul painting. So let's see what it looks like. It's a little bit dusty, but this is a piece I can't even remember when, but I exhibited it at Kyoko Mutiki Art Gallery, and then it came back home. Then I think I took it to Alliance in Mombasa for an exhibition, and then I ended up coming back early from Alliance, so a fellow artist ended up carrying it back to Nairobi for me. So yeah, at Kyoko, I don't know if it's like the temperature of the room, of the gallery, but it started fading. So the blue is much lighter than it was originally. It's not as vibrant, and I've never had that experience with any of my paintings. So I'm assuming it's just like the atmosphere in the gallery. So I was a bit disappointed when I got it back, but I knew it was just something that wasn't really in their control, so I just let it slide. It's finally back. It's finally back. The person who was keeping it for me ended up traveling. She's now studying in the US, so her brother is one who reached out to me and was like, yo, we have your painting, do you want it back, yada yada. It came back. I'm really happy, and this has a very interesting story, because when I was taking it to Kyoko, I don't think I was expecting them to accept my work for exhibition, really. So when they told me to bring in my work, I was like, wait, what? I wasn't ready. I was just taking my chances. So I went to House of Leather, looked for a frame, and when I came back, because I didn't have time to get it custom framed like I usually do with the rest, which I wish I did because that blue would have been preserved. But I went and got a frame from House of Leather, and it didn't fit quite well. So it was initially on this small mounting board, and so I had to attach a straw board behind it for it to fit the size of the frame. So there was that, and then they ended up removing the frame for the exhibition, because when I went to check, it didn't have the frame. So yeah, frame your work, guys, or use like, what are those things called? I've forgotten. It's a clear thing you put on top when you're done, and it preserves your painting. Anywho, it's back. King Saul is back. I might tell you the story of King Saul one day, but I'm happy he's back. I have quite weird working hours these days. Like Kitambo, like when I was in high school, I could easily say I was an early bird. And then a few years ago, I could say I'm a late owl. Is that what they're called? I think so. But now it's just I just work when I'm working. So I'm currently remaking this specific brand. I'll have the images on the screen. It's basically a brand of like natural products, various products. It's like hair care products. There's dish care products like the one you've seen on the screen, and just a bunch of other things. But my sister hooked me up with this connection. Much love to you. But she wants to now come out with her own hair care line, and I'm just over here on the internet looking at the competition, and I'd say Mizizi, which I'm seeing, Mizizi and Shiba, they're both like under Shed Naturals. I think they're the best designed hair care products on the market. Mikala is also really coming up, especially their new shampoo line, sulfate free shampoos. I think those are really well designed. Yeah, so I'm just looking at like competitors, just looking at what they're doing with their packaging and stuff like that, and then also trying to implement the requirements she placed. She wanted an emphasis on like the Kenyan flag, so I didn't just put a direct flag, but like, I'm using the color codes to create these designs. Also, I'm low-key championing for Kahawa Creations pattern to be like our national pattern. So I use it wherever I can, of course, with my own two modifications. So that it's not like I'm just stealing. But yeah, that's what's going on down here with the triangles and all over here. Sorry for the shadow. That's what's going on down here with the triangles. But I'm undecided between having geometric triangles or something organic like this, so that's why I've used them both on the top and bottom. But for the real thing, I would have made up my mind, or at least the client would have chosen between one of the two. But the curvy lines come from this design I did, I think, a year or two ago. Yeah, just to kind of show like fluidity and like, organicness, which is something that would better communicate. Basically, organic forms would be better at communicating hair products than geometric shapes would. But yeah, so yeah, kind of just like switched up her logo, simplified it slightly. I really liked the play with the C and the Q, so I kept that. And then now this is a suggestion based off of like what her budget will be like. So I was like, maybe at the top of the lid, you could have this symbol embossed into every single lid just for brand identity, and it makes it look more classy or whatever. Yeah. And then like Kericho Gold, which has a different color scheme, or basically uses a lot of color coding for their different teas. I thought we could apply that to this, so different color codes to differentiate the products while maintaining the other design elements. And then, as you know, I am an illustrator before I am a graphic designer. So I was thinking of maybe some vector illustrations of the key ingredients of the products. So like with this one, it has aloe vera, it has strawberry, and it has a third thing, the hair food. So I was like, maybe we could incorporate like translucent 2D vector images, single color, literally, either black or white, depending on what the background color of the label is. Just incorporating those so that you don't have to obviously write aloe vera and whatever. You can just look at the vector illustrations and know what is in it. And that's currently a trend in the design space, in the graphic design space, those two vector images rather than realistic images when it comes to packaging design. So yeah, that's me saying peace. I'm gonna go shower and then maybe come back and continue this. I don't know. It's 5:29 p.m. So yeah, thanks for listening to my design process. If we go on, I'll keep showing you progress. Not cool. Not cool. Literally so similar to the design I was gonna do. This is annoying. Currently learning Blender, not for the first time, but currently learning sculpting on Blender for the first time. And over here, it looks like nothing, yeah? As you rotate, it starts to give a certain image, like, okay, here, it's kind of looking like a tree, kind of looking like a mushroom, I don't know. We keep turning, you start seeing the side profile of, I'd say, an old lady's head. You know, this being the nose, the eye, the parting of the lips going in, and this being her hair, her neck, yeah, chin, right? Then we start to go this way, and you're seeing nothing, but you're kind of seeing her face around here. As you keep going, it disappears and it becomes this kind of translucent, transparent sphere. But then if you come over to the top, you kind of see the face with the nose protruding, the eyes, indented, and you're still seeing part of that tree/mushroom thing. This is so interesting. It reminds me of like when I just sat myself down and started playing around with gypsum filler and created this sculpture that I thought looked like one thing, but apparently looks like another. But it's alright. So it really does remind me of that. One thing I'm finding interesting is how when you add polygons, it becomes more malleable to work with. It becomes like when you add water to clay, and when you reduce the amount of polygons, it becomes very stiff and like paper-like. Really, really like that. It's kind of giving me Fringe vibes. If you've watched the show, the sci-fi show Fringe, yeah. This seems like something that would happen because of Walter's experiment in the past. I'm back. It's another day, and tonight I have let's just say today, yeah? Only today. It's the 14th of July. And I was just going through a certain folder I didn't even know existed on my phone. And I found some old photos from my gap year that turned into 2 years. If you don't know what I'm talking about, clearly you haven't watched my visa rejection video. So I will have that up either here or here. One of the two. I'll link it there, and then you can watch it and get caught up and know what I'm talking about. So, but in summary, I took a gap year after I finished high school because I was I was very unsure about the next few steps that I was going to take in my life, and I needed clarity on that. So I kind of just did it secretly. Didn't really tell my parents. I just like didn't really make any effort applying anywhere, and I just prayed about it, and I think they kind of got the hint, they got the clue, and I ended up taking my gap year. Gap year, long story short, turned into 2 years, and honestly, looking back at like the photos I've just opened, those were the best 2 years of my life. I traveled severally on my own during those 2 years. One of those times I traveled outside of the country for the first time in my life on my own. I pursued so many things. I painted so much, I created so much art, I exhibited so much, I took up so many opportunities, and man, I genuinely lived my life during those 2 years. So the reason why I'm even reflecting about this is because of late I've been feeling a little bit purposeless, for lack of a better word. I feel like purposeless is such an exaggeration, but for lack of a better word, that's what I've been feeling. because just from sitting down right now and reflecting, I've come to realize that, and I tend to make jokes about this, but I never have taken it seriously. But I think like now I'm being called out and I'm not seeing it. But I've gone back to my old ways of placing my identity in the things that I do. So in high school, that was my academic excellence. But God just intentionally stripped that identity away from me and left me kind of meaningless for a while so that I could find meaning in Him and my identity in Him and my direction and purpose in Him. So I thought it was over there. I thought it was over then. But clearly, sitting back down now, the main reason I feel kind of purposeless right now is because I'm not busy. So I thought I'd gotten over finding my identity or placing my identity in the things of this world, but clearly, we're back there. You know when Jonathan McReynolds sings, I can't even remember the song now, but there's a song where Jonathan McReynolds talks about how he thought he had overcome a certain thing last year, but it's like back. Anyway, I thought I dealt with me placing my identity in the things of the world, but it's back. And I'm like, I thought we closed that chapter. Clearly not. Because now that I'm not busy, now that I'm not on the go all the time, now that I'm not too busy to answer people's calls, now that I'm not too busy to meet up with people, I'm kind of just like, okay, so what is life? Let me tie this back into the 2 years between high school and uni. During that period, I was literally going after every single opportunity that I could see. Yeah. I wasn't afraid of rejection or anything. I literally just went for everything that I could go for. And I got a lot of those opportunities. And these were like things that kept me really busy, things that made me feel very accomplished, things that really boosted my ego and, kind of still form part of my identity today. And so I was thinking back to that period and how right now I'm not as busy in certain seasons because now I'm not chasing after several goals and several opportunities, but I'm rather pursuing one, which is my degree. And so when school is not in session, that means I'm on break. And now that I've allowed my identity to kind of shift into being busy. We closed for holiday a month and a half ago. And I was so determined on getting like an internship or an attachment. But clearly, with all the skills that I have, those doors have remained shut for reasons known best to the Almighty. I'm starting to see why. The other day I realized one reason why, and now I'm kind of realizing more of why. Nasema nini, it's been 8 minutes. Gosh, this is gonna be a long vlog. I really wanted to get an attachment or an internship so that I wouldn't just be sitting at home doing nothing. Because to me, yes, I can be working from home the whole day, but as long as I'm not hitting my bed burnt out and passing out immediately the moment I lay down on my bed, I don't feel like I've had a fulfilling day. I don't feel like I've been productive. When really, I've done so many things throughout the day, things of value. But because I don't feel physically exhausted or mentally tired, I feel like there's nothing I've done. And that's really dangerous because it shows that I'm not really appreciating the things that God has me doing right now. and I'm not being grateful for the opportunities that I have right now, simply because they don't seem worthy enough in my eyes. When it's not like I'm sitting down all day watching YouTube and eating snacks, there's actually like things I'm doing. It's just that these are things that require me to stay at home, sit on my laptop all day. So there's that whole feeling of not feeling like I'm doing anything productive in my life, because I'm not getting tired. So I'm kind of just like realizing that, and I'm like, okay, how do we work our way out of this, God? How do we get back to being content with wherever you have us at any particular moment? And then while I was thinking back to the 2 years I took off between my education, I just wanted to give a word of advice to anyone who might have just done their not IGCSE, what's year 13? GCE. I think it's GCE. If I remember correctly, I think it's GCE. If you did your exams in May, June, your results will be coming out in a few weeks from when you're watching this. And man, if you can take a gap year, take that gap year. That will be like the best year of your life. Or it might not be. If you choose to, like, if you have a goal, if you have a plan for that gap year, it'll be the best year of your life. But if you don't, I think you'll just get bored. So if you're gonna take a gap year, have a plan. But I highly encourage people to take gap years, even if you're moving from Form 4 into university. Basically, if you're done with high school, man, take that gap year. I don't think you'll ever have an opportunity where your parents are still providing for you and you're busy exploring things. You get, after uni, there's a bit more pressure to have your own job and stuff like that. So I don't know if you could really take a gap year between your undergrad and your master's if you choose to do a master's degree, because I think life would just happen. So man, after high school, if you can, and if you have a good reason for it, do it. You won't regret it. My hair looks so nice today. Wow. Wow. Anyway, among the many things I have to do today, this is like the easiest one. So I began with it because it would take the shortest time out of everything else I have to do today. And it also has the closest deadline. So it was simply a trace of an existing logo. The person wanted to have individual colors for the D and the B. And yeah, that was it literally. So he sent me the logo. I traced it and then implemented the colors of choice. I really like how it looks.